All right, welcome everybody to only slightly delayed session number 40 of Saturday Night Greyhawk. I am DM Galabond, gradually being joined in the Roll20 and on the Discord by players. Players, how are you all doing?
Guess you can say I'm probably higher than a guy who's sniffing paint fumes all afternoon.
Okay, you're very quiet, Goonie.
Is that better?
Yeah, and it could possibly be that I have the background music up a little bit high. Okay, go ahead and talk again.
How's this?
Okay. All right,
Better?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
All right.
Hello.
Bob.
Hello.
Welcome. Ronnie.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. So you've met Ronnie, or you've met Bob, you've met Goonie, or Heather.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yes, I sure did.
Yes.
Okay.
We're expecting in a few minutes. Sounds like we're going to have pretty much everybody, but Jason, Marcel, and Casca mentioned that they would be running a little bit late. So we will see them when we see them. As I specified last week, Marcel is our player who plays from Germany, so he gets up in the middle of the night to play D&D with us. So I'm going to go ahead and start to recap and get us to where we were at the end of the session. I think, I know where we left off, and I know what we talked about doing. So let me figure out where we left off and what we want to do before the others get here. So last time, the heroes were able to go and explore another part of this level of the dungeon, partially because somebody escaped from captivity, being held captive by bugbears and a turnkey jailer, and escaped from that and ran and found the others. And they were able to come and rescue several other humanoids that were being held captive, 2 humans and a half-orc, along with the half-elf druid that they rescued. So they killed the 2 bugbears, killed the human turnkey, and they found a little bit of loot and a little bit of gold, not a whole lot, that those people had on them. And then they found a secret door that led into a hallway, but Brother Tuck informed everybody that he sensed undead down there. And there had been a conversation about getting the prisoners back, or the prisoners that they had rescued, back up to the safe house on the surface, and out of the dungeon. And so we kind of left off where Brother Tuck was cautioning the players about running into the areas filled with undead. So the question for you guys who are here now, do you want to go ahead and get those prisoners up to the surface, or did you want to do something else while we're waiting for everybody else to log in?
I'd say let's try to get him up to the surface.
Yeah.
Get him out of the way.
Okay, all right. And that might be a nice change for Aries, because Aries is, in fact, a druid, and he likes being in nature. And this whole oppressive being underground where these crazy people are, is a bit nuts. All right, so I've moved us over to this map. I'm also gonna change our sound set to the outside sound set. Just reduce the volume on those happy little birds a little bit. Yes. Okay, so what you see here is you see just an exterior view. We don't actually have the cottage on there because there's no tactical reason we need the cottage on this. But the cottage is just presumed to be like to the south of this particular map. And as you see, there are a number of gnolls as well as the party members and a few uh, humanoid mercenaries. Now, this is an area where recently a battle took place between some allies of the party and some of the cult defenders. This area up at the top is representative of some earthwork berms, defensive structures that were built. And then the large black circles are evidence of places where the ground has been scarred by spell damage from bombardments of things like fireballs and other nasty destructive spells that just essentially left craters in the ground and um, burned all of the grass and other vegetation in that area due to its destructive force. The two little groups of gnolls that are designated as tower lookouts and safe house, those are two groups that are at separate locations that are not shown on the map. Like I said, the safe house itself is to the south. It's a cottage. It has some stables where the party are stabling their horses. There's plenty of feed. The gnolls keep a perimeter watch to look for any potential enemies or potential allies coming from a distance. There is also a series of underground tunnels that go through the well that connect this location to the dungeon that you all are exploring to the above ground temple that has a large that has a tower built around there's a large walled structure built around the temple, and one corner of that structure is a large tower that previously was occupied by temple defenders, but the party defeated them, and now their Gnoll allies keep a lookout in the tower and patrol those walls. So they have these allies that ostensibly are helping them keep a watch on this place as they continue to clear it out and deal with the remnants of the forces of elemental evil that are here. So, as you guys come up to the surface, the prisoners are all very relieved. The two humans turn out to be people that were merchants that have been that had been captured by aficionados of the temple. They are merchants from the area of the town of Nulb, and they were brought out here as apparently as part of a trade deal, and then were captured. So the same way that people sort of misled Aries about their intentions in coming out here, they misled these merchants as well. And the half work was an adventurer that was part of an adventuring party that came out here some time ago and was looking into this thing, and they got captured. She is the last surviving member of her party, and she estimates that she's been held captive for around 3 months.
Oh.
And so the rest of her adventuring companions either were killed when they were taken captive, or they have disappeared one by one from the cells, never to be seen again. And so Min and Bob, you guys know from your searching through this area, you guys know what at least one thing that might have happened to them based on the practices of these cultists. So
They got eaten alive.
they very well might have been sacrificed to those earth elementals that you found. So these cultists are not really nice people.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah. So she's kind of devastated when she hears that news. But with a little rest, she would be eventually kind of able to help out. She is what amounts to a first level adventurer, so she would not be much good to you guys, but she is willing to be of assistance. Helping to tend the horses or helping to do things either here at the safe house or over at the tower or whatever. So she's kind of interested in that. The merchants, they just want, to find a way to get back to, well, either to get back to Nulb or to get back to their families as quickly as possible.
Do we
So we
have
could go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, well, I was just going to say we could use the half-orc lady to take them back to Nulb and then journey back and kind of be a go-between information-wise.
Kind of what I was thinking.
That is a definite possibility. And as you guys are thinking about what to do and how you might proceed with them, in a tree about 20 feet away, there is a familiar sounding little jostling of the branches. And as you look over there, suddenly materializing, sitting on a branch, is the little pixie Argader that you had met. And he says, "Oh, you brought more people out of there. Oh, they don't look like cultists."
No, these were prisoners. So
they're prisoners.
Yes, we saved them.
Oh, you saved them. Ooh.
2 are merchants and 2 are adventuring types. I don't know if Aries was
Yeah,
said as
Aries. I think Aries had told us before you got on, Bob, that he had come to this. He had been lured here by the promise of adventure and treasure, and when he got here, he was captured instead and thrown in prison, overpowered and imprisoned.
He was
Do you,
hornswoggled.
do you guys have noticed this fairy before? This is the first time that I am seeing him. Her.
right. No, we know of this one. Yeah, this is kind of an information.
And how has she
Partner.
helped you?
She's given us information about what's been going on through here. We mostly talk to Talon, I believe, or Quinn,
I am
or they.
I am a friend of the blacksmith in Nulb.
Oh,
And-
that's right.
And the blacksmith is a friend of the allies that these adventurers have in Hamlet. And
I look at you
so-
both and I wonder, hey, how do you guys know about this blacksmith? What's he about?
Mystic Voice of the Universe reminds the party that you all have not actually ever been to Nulb and you've never actually met him, but you have heard of him by reputation. He goes by the name of Otis, and you've heard of him by reputation from Rufus and Byrne, the two retired adventurers that are friends of yours from Hamlet. So
I'll repeat what you
you-
just said.
yeah,
All right.
We have never met him. We just know him by reputation. So, well, Harry's been a pretty good person.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
Argader says, yes, he was helpful to the first group of adventurers that came out here many years ago and tried to destroy the Temple of Elemental Evil. They were unable to completely destroy it, so they erected the bronze doors and put the magical words up that you will eventually find if you search enough in there. And that was supposed to stop them. But apparently, from what these adventurers have told me, there's been a collapse underground, and now there's an extra way in and out that did not exist previously.
Yep.
Which is basically how you guys have been getting in and out of
Yep.
that underground complex.
And apparently the cultists have been using this to increase their numbers too.
Yes.
So that's what we aim to stop.
Yes, when these adventurers had to go to Verbank recently for supplies and to sell some of the items that they had found and learn more information, there was a battle here, and you can see the battle scars, and that was with some of the other friends of my master, if you will. I don't really serve him. He's more my friend. But some other allies of my friend Otis, some people that you might have heard of. You might have heard of Mordenkainen the Wizard. You might have heard of Bigby the Wizard. You might have heard of some of their other friends like Tensor. They were involved along with forces from the King of Greyhawk that came out and fought reinforcements from the temple. And
Don't remind me, we owe them some of this gold and stuff and treasure through that help. So yes,
and
they will get their pay. They will get their pay.
The fairy shrugs its the pixie shrugs its shoulders and says, "Oh, I don't know anything about that, but I am told by my friend the blacksmith that he always has to pay taxes. And when I ask him what taxes are, he says taxes are what the portion that the king gets for keeping everybody safe. So I guess if the king sent his soldiers out here, he wants taxes to try to keep
To
this
recoup.
safe."
Yep, absolutely.
Yes. But it seems like you're the ones that are doing the work to keep it safe, so maybe the king should pay taxes to you.
That would be the logic way to think of it. But
I don't know how that works.
In our societies, I guess it's a little backwards.
Oh, well, okay.
You pay the man on top. That's all I know.
And so the pixie says, "Well, the road between here and Nulb is relatively clear. If these prisoners have horses, they should be able to ride, or if they can borrow horses, they should be able to ride with no problem. And I can travel along ahead of them to make sure that nothing is in the way. I could warn them if there is, but of course I couldn't do much to protect them except maybe go and warn the blacksmith, but I don't know how much help he could be."
Well, that would be very nice of you.
Yes.
I'm sure.
And I think we'll have the half-orc's name? The prisoner that turned adventurer. She may be employed by us to go back and forth to help take them over there. And she can come back and help the gnolls and such patrol the area back up through here, and any more prisoners or any more stuff that we find.
And and she will tell you that her name is Temidur. So Temidur, half-orc, venturing in PC.
Our employment, yeah.
Level 1. Rescued from first level of temple dungeons. So that is who she is. She gives you that name, and Argader says, "Oh, Temidur, that's an interesting name. I've never heard that name before." And
yeah, perfect.
Half-orc looks at the pixie a little bit and says, "What? I've never seen a creature like you before. What manner of creature are you?" And the pixie says, "Oh, I'm a pixie." And the half-orc just immediately runs and tries to hide behind Arcturus.
And what's with all of that?
And looks at you and says, looks at Min and says, "You've never heard the stories? Pixies can summon dragons to fight for them. They can destroy whole cities
I
with
don't
their..."
think so.
And Argader just starts laughing and laughs so hard that as it kind of rears back, it falls from the branch and falls about halfway to the ground before its wings start to flap and it catches itself. And then it flies back up and it sits back on its branch again. And it says, "Ho, ho, 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 ooh, I've never heard that one before. Is that what the orcs say about us? I know that somebody told me one time that orcs are afraid of pixies, but I never could figure out why, because orcs are so big and strong, and we're so tiny. We just go invisible and stay out of the way."
But you're capable of summoning a dragon to wipe out half the orc.
No,
At least
well,
that's what the stories go, and that's how I will be telling it.
not Argader. Argader can't summon. Well, Argader can maybe talk to a firefly, but can't even get a firefly to pay attention if it doesn't want to. Certainly not a dragon.
We'll have to work on that.
Yes, that would be a neat trick. I would be scared of myself too if I could do that.
There's always the illusion.
Well, that's true. Illusions are a thing that we pixies can sometimes do.
As a druid, I want to roll an intelligence check since I've noticed pixies throughout my time being out in the wilderness, and I'm wondering if he's telling the truth or not about dragons, summoning dragons.
Okay. Well, with a 14 out of 10, that's not anything you've ever heard of.
I just sit there and listen. I just have no idea what's going on. This is new to me.
I'll kind of nudge you to the side there, Aries, and give you a wink and just. It's a believable story. But remember, it's a story.
Yeah, we're just playing along with this. All right.
And yeah. So let's see. What? Now you have. You have been. You have heard some stories. That you know, or you have heard that that some pixies are able to use some forms of illusion magic and can sometimes scramble the minds of people that try to harm them. So you wonder if it's possible that maybe they could make someone think that they summoned a dragon. And then if that happened to be someone that went back and told the story, that legend might have gotten, been passed down through the ages to the orcs.
Feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, but that's pretty much the extent of it. You don't think that they have the ability to really summon any kinds of creatures.
Pixie, you've said that the road is clear. Have you seen anything else in the wilderness that we should be wary of?
Well, there's all of the sort of natural creatures, of course, but these gnolls that the party has recruited, they do a really good job of keeping a lookout. They hunt, and so there's the regular uh, animals like the deer and the occasional bear and the rabbits and all of those things. But the wolves have learned that the gnolls are around, and so they don't come near this area very much. Not in the last few days, at least. They kind of give this place a wide berth. So I think unless there's something that has the ability to sneak up invisibly, the gnolls will probably know about any danger before it gets too close.
Archimedes will kind of grin and kind of lean forward and look at Min. Okay.
What?
Said the invisible thing.
Oh. Well,
I caught on to that without
big bad
catching
fighter
on.
like you are, so it's easier to just go poof and
It's a
hide.
great defense. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So I look at you both and I say, well, should we send them on our way? And should we go back underground to keep exploring? Or is there something that we need to take care of up here?
Well, first we need to arm you and armament you, or get you what you might need.
I have my scimitar and I'm good to go. And I prefer not to use a weapon.
Oh, okay.
Just to recap, when we were down there, I found my items that were in the chest.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm armed to what I need to be.
Oh, well then perfect. Do you have all your components or any other items you might need? Rope or...
No, I think I'm good. I know somebody else had some in the party, but let me just walk around some of these bushes and grab a few herbs and pick a few plants and put them into my my little sack, and I think I'll be good if you guys are, unless there's something else that needs to be taken care of. Do we need to make payments to any of the people that are our lookouts, or are they all well paid?
No, the gnolls are paid per month on a monthly basis, and then parts of whatever we grab treasure-wise will disperse accordingly.
Okay.
Gallabond, have I had time to heal?
You guys have been out from underground for maybe, probably by this time, maybe an hour. And yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing. Aries, or Ronnie, I should say, for this particular edition of D&D, it takes kind of a full day of rest to recover like 1 to 3 hit points, because the cleric that's with you has a skill or proficiency in the healing, so he can go and do some things that helps you heal faster, but the normal healing rate is 1 hit point per day. So whenever they come up like this, we just presume that usually a day or two passes while people, the injuries they got get healed up and whatnot before they turn around and go back in. And it's time that they rest. So any of the little tasks you
How
need to
long
do,
have
like
we been underground?
oh, you were underground for a few hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you went down and you came back up the same day, exploring around some of those. But during this time, you had that fight with the Sturges, and you uh, fought the two priests. Uh, Arcturus had his run-in with the elementals, and then um, you rescued the prisoners. So that's basically what you guys have done while you were down there this last time.
I believe that I'm up to full health. Does anybody else need to be healed?
I'm at full health.
I'm good. Now, what I did want to say is that there was a.
Casca, you're really robotic. You may want to try your connection. We can't understand what you're trying to say.
How's this?
Much
Much
better.
better. Much better.
I didn't do anything. I just didn't get interrupted. So I only have 8 out of 27 hit points, so I need to take some time to heal.
You're all right.
Just
Okay,
brush it.
you'll
Just brush
have fun down
Rub
there
some
because
dirt
I'm
in
not
it.
going.
Rub some dirt in it. You'll be fine.
And I think that when he went and rushed in and got attacked by the elementals, I think that Arcturus also suffered quite a bit of damage as well.
Yes.
I mean, I could use some healing, but I'm not in bad shape like everybody else.
Is it daytime?
Yeah, it's afternoon.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to go lay in the sun.
Okay.
How long does it take to regain a spell? Is it every day you get your spells back?
Yes. Every day you get your spells back as a druid, a cleric, or a paladin. You meditate after you have slept. Basically, you meditate for a certain period of time to recover your spells, and mechanically, there's a certain amount of time per spell level. I think that you have to meditate. If you are a bard or a wizard, you study your spell book. And again, it's a certain amount of time that you have to study to prepare those spells for the day. So it's a thing that happens usually at the beginning of the adventuring day, and I don't recall, because I don't think it's come up in our game. I don't recall in second edition if there's a provision where you could swap out anything during the day, like by taking some time to unmemorize one thing and memorize something else.
Okay. As a healer, I mean, I can definitely heal your wounds to speed up the process. So I can lay my hands on you and work some magic if you'd like.
Yeah, there's Brother Tuck, there's the Paladin, and now there's Aries. So with that healing, probably by the end of the day, everybody could be back up to full, but then all those healers would need a long rest so they can recover the spells they used to do the healing, or in the case of the Paladin, recover the.
I'm currently healing 1 per turn.
Okay, so 1 every 10 minutes. All right.
Yeah.
So
And which means I need 190 minutes
Yeah.
to beat a
Okay.
full.
Yeah, so 3 hours. So yeah, bye.
Now you're robotic.
Oh, okay. I heard him roboting. Okay. Maybe that roboting is on my end. But anyway, so 3 hours, that's gonna put you close to late afternoon, not quite dusk, but close to dusk. So
Yeah, but I'll need the night to recuperate the PSP points I use, so that's
right,
fine.
right.
So we can go in the
Just
morning.
set up camp and refresh everybody and
Yeah.
have a meal and heal up and study, whatever.
Yeah. Then
I could do a
you
soft tune.
yeah, the cottage, the safe cottage is such that there's obviously the cottage itself, and on the inside there's a part set aside for the kitchen, which is, there's not running water or anything like that there, but it's been set up as an area where food could be prepared and eaten. There's a storage area, and then there's kind of a central, not really living area. It's more set aside as a central sleeping area. So it's a place where, um, blankets are laid out on the ground or on the floor of the cottage, and then you can put your bedrolls on those blankets. And then obviously people that prefer to sleep outdoors, they can sleep outside, either a little away from the cabin or a little away from the cottage, or um, in the stables or whatever. So, and then the Knolls have a rotation of patrols where they patrol not only the outside of the cottage, but then the perimeter of, like this 5 to 10 acre plot where the cottage is located. So they keep a lookout day and night for things.
And Desert Wind sleeps outside the door, right?
I guess Desert Wind sleeps wherever Talon wants him to sleep.
He
Yeah.
curls up with.
Yeah.
He sleeps outside. He doesn't.
Mhm.
He's an
Yeah.
outside dog.
No, he's
Talon
he
is
wants
roboting.
frigid climate.
Yeah, Casca, you're roboting again. All right.
By the by, yeah. So we're gonna wait till morning, and then we'll head back down.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think this might be, while we have this evening time here, this might be a good time for those of you who have not had a chance to introduce and describe your characters for Ronnie, who is playing Aries. And then after they do that, Ronnie, you can describe Aries for the people that weren't here last week. So, Bob, I know you described you described Archimedes to Aries during
Aries,
the
right?
fight. Goonie, I know you interacted, but I don't know that there was ever a real good introduction of this is what Min looks like.
Nope.
This is what he would see. So why don't we start with you introducing Min to Aries?
Okay. So, Min is obviously a half elf. She has kind of her features are a little more angular through her face. But she's a little short, or on the shorter side, should I say, of half elf size. She always seems to move kind of with I guess you'd call it maybe a feline grace. But she's very pale. She wears a bluish gray robe dress. And usually has a backpack with a book in it and some other accoutrements. So, a little. She seems to find humor in a lot of things. So, there's always a little bit of a smirk to her face.
Right.
Okay. Any obvious jewelry or anything like that?
She currently has on a cloak
Mm-hmm.
over her dress and do.
Is it a gold ring or is it like a?
Oh, sorry. It's she has a ring on her finger. Sorry, it's not a cloak. It's a ring. And that's about it.
It's got a big gaudy diamond ring to it, or diamond cut. Is it
I'm not sure.
costume jewelry? It's like emerald or something. It's real gaudy looking, right?
Obviously, this ring is standing out to me. There's something about this ring.
I've actually never tried to figure out what a ring of invisibility looks like.
That's a really pretty ring you got there.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that in second edition. I don't think they gave images of the magic items. It was kind of sometimes they were described, but a lot of times it was just left up to the player to decide. Well, my cloak of protection looks like this, or my ring of whatever looks like that.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. So you got this ring from a thief that you all defeated, or an assassin, I should say, that you defeated earlier in the adventure. And for something being worn by an assassin, I would consider it's probably
Just very
either
plain.
pale gold or silver, maybe. A band that looks very nice, and has sort of the patina that no matter how long you wear it, it never kind of gets dull. It never seems to get grimy or dirty with the dust and dirt of adventuring. It always has that shiny patina to it, but it is kind of plain. Because if you think about it, somebody that was an assassin would not want to call a lot of attention to themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's probably the way it looks.
Yep, pretty much.
So Min put the bling on there. That's what you're telling me.
No. There is no bling on this ring. Goober.
Archimedes keeps thinking that if the ring had bling, it would be much better in his songs and stories and tell about the party. But yeah.
Min don't play that game.
All right, so that is Min, and let's see. let's try Casca. Let's see how your connection is doing. Since you weren't here last week, go ahead and describe what Aries would see when he looks at Talon. Oh,
A better? No? Yes.
Yeah.
it
Yeah, it's
started off. It started off crackly, but now it's fine.
Okay. He would see what looks like a young child with black hair. You may have noticed his eyes are green, laying on the grass, soaking in the sun, and seeing his wounds heal. With his dog, laying at his feet. He wears heavy clothing, even though it may be hot outside, because he's always cold. And carries a short sword. He's only like 3.5 feet tall, so that's
elvish?
about it.
What is it? Go ahead.
Sounds like halfling.
It
Not a edition half.
We're definitely gathering half of what you say.
yeah. Yeah. Casca, I don't know if we've ever established or if you've ever mentioned if it's in your head canon, it's fine. But what is Talon's skin tone? What do the? Go ahead.
He has a tan complexion, kind of like, like maybe somebody from, kind of tannish olive, kind of like from Italy. Or,
Okay.
Okay.
He has long black hair or just medium cut hair, or is it
It's long.
long black
He
hair?
wears it. Yeah, he wears it in a kind of a long ponytail.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, he is about the size of halflings, but Aries, the halflings you have seen from the world of Greyhawk are usually they're kind of tend to be a little stout, and they tend to look mature in the face when they grow up, and they can be very nimble and very light-footed, but they always tend to have a little bit of a belly, like they enjoy their food. And then they have feet that seem to be proportionally a little larger than most other humanoids, and they're typically furry and they typically run around barefoot. Now, um, Talon, in stature, he's kind of similar to a halfling, but instead of appearing as an adult of the halfling species, he looks more like a human child in terms of the way the way his body is put together and the proportion of his limbs and everything. And I don't think he goes around barefoot. I think he has either soft leather or hard leather boots on that he wears.
Yeah, I wear
So,
soft leather boots.
yeah. So it's you often find yourself doing a double take because it's like, what is this kid doing here on this adventure? But then you realize from the way he talks and the way he moves, he doesn't act like a kid.
Okay.
Only when I want a free meal.
And Jason, did you have a chance to describe Quint last week?
Yeah, we went over it. But I mean, just a quick recap. He's a half elf. He's got some nice leather armor on that he wears. I mean, you would have talked to him some by now, so you know he's hangs out in the woods a lot. He's got that nice belt that he wears, and a short sword and a long sword, and some daggers on him's person that he gets out and whacks the bad guys with pretty hard.
Yeah, you, Aries probably would recognize him as falling into the archetype of those rangers, the people that insist on living among civilized folk and yet also keeping an eye on what's going on in nature. And you know that among some druids don't know whether they should completely trust rangers or not, because some druids seem to think that rangers are liaisons between nature and the civilized world. Other druids seem to think that rangers are spies from civilization, coming to find out how best to exploit and destroy nature. So, what what Aries' opinion of druids are, that's up to you to decide. But there is that sort of range among the different druidic circles. The ones that feel closer to their humanoid kith and kin, and those that feel like uh, they are the stewards of nature and all the other humanoids are out to destroy nature. So, you have that kind of range among various druidic circles that either are reclusive and don't want anything to do with civilization, or ones that are happy to talk to farmers when they have problems with crops, or um, help tend a sick family pet or something like that. So
Okay.
yeah. And then since now you have an idea of what everybody else's character looks like, when they now get a good look at Aries outside in the afternoon sunlight, what would they see when they look at Aries?
Aries is out, and you guys are noticing her rummaging through stuff. And she is approaching different trees and giving little prayers as she pulls a little bit of bark from them. As she steps over to flowers and picks them, she says a little something every time that you see her. The appearance that you get is this scraggly little. She doesn't look like a child, but she isn't definitely at a full adult, maybe somewhere between 13 to 16 years old. She has a huge mess in her hair. There's twigs that are sticking out of it. There's some dreads that are wrapped around some of them, and then some of it's just long, hanging down off of her dark green tethered cloak that has a lot of mud and different bushes and stuff that are just like got caught onto it, but she doesn't really care about any of that. She just drags it along with her. But something that is kind of strange is that as you're watching her footprints as she's moving through the dirt, even though she's very light-footed, sometimes her footprint is off to the side and not matching up with her as she still travels along and still picking through little bushes and grabbing insects and putting them into her bag. But for the most part, she has pointy ears, and so you can tell that she's a half-elf. And that's Aries.
Okay.
At some point in time, Min will kind of approach her and go, "Can I help you with your hair?"
Oh, no, it's good. It's good. I don't have time to worry about that.
Well, you can be working on something else, and I can work on your hair.
Well, when we have a chance to sit down, I'm definitely going to need a moment to meditate in order to take in everything that I gathered and to give respect back to the earth. But I also need to work on just some of my spells that before we go back underground. And maybe you can help me get some of these twigs out of it.
Okay. Well, I'll do that.
I would
'Cause
appreciate that.
Min's just kind of like, yikes.
OCD on that. Can we just
I
stop there
feel-
for a second and pull that out of her hair?
If you haven't gone back and listened to some of the earlier episodes, Min was kind of a cat person. Like, she looked kind of like a humanoid cat. And
He was more fun too.
So, yeah, the whole fastidiousness is still clinging to her as far as, a cat going, oh God, something touched me. Ugh.
Oh.
I must clean my fur now. La, la, la.
They will both get along quite well.
All right. Well, we will have to have an opportunity when Marcel is able to join us. We'll have an opportunity for him to describe Arcturus for Aries as well. All right. So the evening comes and goes. You guys get a full rest between the healers in the party and the NPCs. Everybody's hit points are recovered. You're all at full health in the morning, and you take the time needed to prepare your spells. So those of you that are spellcasters, hopefully you know how many slots you have and what you want to prepare for the day. So that is done, and then after a breakfast meal, which you can have, it's nutritious, filling meal. You're ready to head back into the dungeons. So,
Before we do
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
there is a +2 chainmail. And I was going to swap that out, and if anybody needed the bracers of defense that he's wearing, that Archimedes is wearing, that would be a good trade-off.
Okay.
Do that.
That would be helpful for me.
Yeah, I know.
If
there's
nobody
probably-
else needs them.
Yeah, I know there's probably several people that could use the bracers of defense. What is the armor class of those bracers?
6.
Okay, so it's a base armor class of 6, and then any dexterity
your
bonus
Yep.
would go on top of that. Also, I think if you have anything that gives you a bonus to your armor class, then the bracers would reset your base armor class to 6, and then that bonus would be calculated off of that instead of whatever your normal base armor class is based on your dexterity. Now, the thing with bracers, they are one of those items, I believe, in this edition, as in later editions. If you're wearing any armor, the bracers are nullified. So you cannot use bracers in conjunction with armor as well. So,
Correct.
yeah, that would be the thing. So for those of you that don't wear armor, which
I'm hearing the hint.
Yeah, there are several of you in the party, so that might be. And if multiple people want it, I am fine with either you guys just deciding how to split it up, or if everybody really thinks it's a benefit, then the people that want it just roll a d20 and it goes to the highest roll. I'm fine doing it that way as well. So, who would have an interest in those bracers?
I don't think I have any armor. What is my armor class? I have no idea.
Okay, well,
Let's see here. Oh, I have an armor class of 8.
And I have an armor class of 8, but I'm sure you were there when the armor was 1, so I'll step away from that.
Well, let's see here. Yeah, I actually don't have any armor.
yeah.
Now, Min has the advantage of going invisible, though. So yeah, that's her defense.
Yeah,
main
and in this edition of the ring is a lot more powerful than a ring of invisibility in later editions, because basically, if you're wearing the ring, all you have to do is think about going invisible, and you go invisible. Now, certain things will cause you to pop out of being invisible, but then you can immediately turn around and think about going invisible again, and you just go invisible again. So
Yeah.
it's in later editions, there's things like how long it will let you invisible and how many times a day it will let you invisible and those types of things. In this edition, no. It's just, oh, I want to be invisible. Boom, you're invisible.
Okie dokie. All right.
So
I got
that's
it.
yeah. And then so I've heard Aries and Min and Talon. Does Talon wear any armor?
Wear armor. The only benefit it would give me is on my thieving abilities.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So
my armor class wouldn't change, but my thieving abilities would go up.
okay. All right. So it would be an armor class benefit for 2 people. It would be a benefit to core
Well,
class abilities for.
I say the armor class benefit to people. I can live with what my thieving abilities are. So I think people is protected better than what they are now.
Okay. So I think I heard that Talon is going to let it be decided between Aries and Min.
Don't take my out of the
Correct.
because I've got the
Yeah,
ring.
it would improve my armor by 1, but I think it would probably be better for somebody else to take it.
I have
Okay.
an armor class of an 8, so
Yeah. So I think Min just said that she would step aside for this. So I think we can go ahead and we can give the bracers of defense, bracers AC 6 to Aries. So I think what I will do is I'll go over here. And
Oh, thank you all. Are you sure nobody else wants it? Because I know that I'm newest and I don't want to take something.
Nope. As you can tell, we're all kind of like,
Yeah.
might work for me, but maybe not. I don't know. Don't worry about it.
Awesome. That would really help me a lot.
Yeah. This is a Gary Gygax module, which means that every time you turn around, there's more loot and more treasure and more items. So it's entirely possible by the time we get done with this, every single character will have upgraded and recycled 2 or 3 different items because they found something better. So it's one of those kinds of modules, and I'm not adding a single word to what is here. I'm just going with it because that's part of the fun of these old modules. Is it's just every time you turn around, you get something new. What is it going to be this time? So if I go to the now your base AC becomes 6, and with the cloak, that reduces it by 2. So now
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Aries drops from an AC 8 to an AC 4. And since Aries can't be invisible, that's going to help that. Now, these bracers for a non-rogue. Let me take a quick look at the bracers of defense.
So they are. I mean, I am part rogue.
Well, yeah, okay. You have that. Okay. Yeah. It just yeah, and it would help okay, I see what Talon is saying. It would help him because he would be able to get rid of his armor and some of his rogue abilities would go up. That's what it would do. Okay. So yeah, you just bracers of defense AC 6. They don't have any other ongoing effect than just changing your armor class. So that's cool. All right, so we'll take you back because there's no penalty for having armor with those, and you didn't have a penalty before with Aries. So all right, I think we have done that. So let me go to the sheet and experience and edit this, and I'll go to the +2 +2 chainmail. What session did we get that? Oh, Bob.
I think it was 36, 30.
30 mumble.
Yep, chainmail +2. I see it. And that is Archimedes. And then the bracers ace. Okay, so anything else we need to take care of that has not been claimed?
Nope.
Nope.
All right. So in the morning, Edgardo and Abigail, the two merchants, will head out to go back towards Nulb. You all said you wanted to send Timodur along with them.
As like a guide or a protection, and then liaisons back and forth also. She wants to come back and help the gnolls.
Okay. Yeah, and Argader is going with them as well. So, is there any message that you want or anything you want to send with Timodur, or do you want to give her gold and have her buy anything and bring it back from Nulb?
Not
question.
really.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
All right. She will travel with them, and she will make the acquaintance of Otis, and then she'll come back. It's probably oh gosh, I'd have to go back and listen and see what we said. I think it's like a half day ride, or is it two? Is it? It's. I think it's closer to Nulb than it is back to Hamlet. So I think it's like a
Yes.
day's ride from here to Nulb and a day's ride back. It's like 2 days getting to Hamlet from here, and then another 2 days to get back. So the way this wilderness is all spread out and everything. So they go, they leave, and you guys are able to go back down into the dungeon. We want to go back to the same level you all have been exploring.
Might as well pick up where we left off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are, of course, primarily, it is known that the major things as yet unexplored are the areas where there might be undead. So, to recap from what you learned last time, you learned that that across the hall and in this sort of corridor up here, you heard the sounds coming from the east of a bunch of scrabbling around like tiny little animals running around up there. And then when you were in this area here, and you saw the fact that there were like little slots that looked like the slots on the back of a prison cell where you might slip food or something to a prisoner. That's what you could see in this hallway. And Brother Tuck said that he sensed undead down that hallway. So there's not an obvious way of getting a person in there. Like I said, there are those slots that a latch can be pulled aside and those can be opened. So you could look in there, but nobody has done that yet.
And where's that at?
That is in this corridor right here. Corridor where Archimedes and Quint are.
And
Right next.
what's the diameter to fit in there?
The slots are probably about 3 or 4 inches tall and maybe a 1.5 feet wide. So you could slip like a tray or a plate with food or something in there.
Okay.
And we believe they're just undead, though. We just might want to leave them in there.
Yeah. Brother Tuck says, "Well, before we quit this place, we should destroy them, of course. Whether we need to make it our mission to destroy them right now or not, I certainly think I'm certainly willing to debate that point. But before we leave this complex entirely, I think we need to make sure they are destroyed. And I believe that Archimedes would probably agree with me."
Arcturus? I'll agree with you.
Arcturus. Yes. I'm sorry, it's been a long day.
Yes. Yes.
Just getting started. Literally.
Oh, yes, it was the prayers this morning for those poor merchants weighed heavily on my mind. I was a bit distracted with that. So,
A needle pulling thread. Sorry. Couldn't help myself.
So you have that as an option there. I see Talon went running down to the end of the hall. Anything Talon wants to do?
Well, I just wanted to catch up with the group because I was way on the other side. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm not sure what's going on. All I see is a dead bugbear, and I don't something.
Actually, I see you right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, at the end of this hallway where it turns, and this right here, this tiny little feature on the wall is
A little colored red, right?
yeah, that little slot that we were talking about, that could be opened. So I didn't know if you were getting up there because you wanted to do something with that, or whether you just
I'm gonna open one.
okay.
Yeah, I'll open the slot.
Okay.
Okay. There's a it's hinged at the top, and there is a bolt action latch on one end. So you can, pull that bolt down from its slot, slide it over, and that will allow you to open that slot. You do open it, and the instant that you do, you hear the shuffling of feet, and some groaning, and several humanoid shapes begin shambling over. It's clear that some of them have some skin missing. It is clear from the stench that they are, in fact, undead. And it's clear that if you leave that slit open, they are going to try to reach their undead hands through and throttle you.
I
What
will
would you
close
like?
it.
Okay. All right. So you close it. Yes. As Brother Tuck said, there's undead.
I just wanted to be sure.
So
When you looked in, did you see any flammable objects? Anything of wood?
I saw dead people. I didn't see anything else.
All right.
dead people. Okay. That, in a different edition, that might be worth either giving or taking away inspiration, but since that doesn't exist in this edition, although I think we've been playing with that rule, haven't we? So we've been doing things. So I don't know. Up to the party to decide would that be a reference worthy of giving or worthy of taking away inspiration. All right. So these are okay. I'm just trying to look to see what you would see. Okay. What Talon would have seen, the cell where the zombies are is 10-foot square with closely set stone blocks in wall and floor. The ceiling is hewn from living rock. Straw litters the floor, and chains hang from the far wall. Small drain is in the center of the floor. And that's pretty much what you see.
Your basic cell.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say we light a match and throw it in there, see if we can catch that straw on fire.
Well, be better if we poured some oil in there or something.
Now I don't have any oil. Do you?
No.
Well, I do, but they're locked up. We can deal with them later.
Do we
True.
see a place where they can exit? Is there anything else along this wall that's an opening that leads into there?
There's a door on the other side of the
There,
cell.
yeah, there's a door on the other side of the cell that he can see, which presumably leads out to a hallway. But this is not like a barred door. This is a um, solid metal door, and there is what looks like a sliding window in that door, which is currently closed. So from your side, you just see the cube or the cell. You see the door of the cell, and you see a window in that door, which is closed. So uh, now exploration last week proved that there is another hallway on the other side of these cells. So you would presume that that door leads out into that hallway, but without.
Don't seem to be bothering us. Maybe we should just leave them alone.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Talon, looking down the hallway, you see two more such slots like the one you're at here and here. But then on the other side of the hallway, you notice something a little bit different. You notice a slightly different feature. There's uh, there's an old gray blanket hangs in this area here.
I'm gonna kind of push it aside and look in, see if there's something behind it or.
Okay. Behind this alcove, or behind this blanket, there is an alcove. That alcove is 10 feet by 10 feet, which contains a cot, a small table, a chair, a lantern, 12 flasks of oil, a barrel. And when you thump the barrel, it doesn't sound like it's all the way full, but it sounds like it has some kind of liquid in it. There's some foodstuffs from which you can make 3 rations. Some old clothing on pegs in the wall, an iron chest, and a heap of glittering equipment.
A heap of glittering equipment?
Yes, more specifically, there is a more specifically, there is gear that looks to be sized for a gnome. And that gear includes leather armor, a short sword, a backpack, several, and the backpack has miscellaneous adventuring gear. There is a dagger in a scabbard, and the chest has a padlock on it.
Ooh, a padlock. Well, I think I would like to check for traps on this chest.
Okay. Let us take a look at Talon. Go to. Come on, character sheet. Boop, doop, 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 doop. Find and remove traps. Okay. You are pretty sure there are no traps.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to open the lock.
Okay. Oh, the lock very easily opens as you manipulate it. And indeed, when you succeed in unlocking it, there is no trap on this lock. It pulls open, and then as you raise the lid of the chest, you see piles of coins and a wooden box.
Piles of coin.
Is the wooden
Yes.
box locked?
No.
I'm going to open it.
Okay. Inside the wooden box, you see two red potions.
Mm.
And by your experience with the other folks you have dealt with and your friends in Hamlet, you know that these are potions of healing. So they are the normal 2d4 plus 2 potions of healing. So this is what you find in the chest, and its box. So there's 401 copper pieces, 151 silver, 90 electrum, 55 gold, 27 platinum, and the two
Wowza.
potions of healing. And
Nice.
welcome, Marcel. Glad you could join us. Marcel, we have our new player, Ronnie, with us. He was able to join us last week.
How you doing, Marcel?
Good. I hope you're doing good too.
Yes.
Yes, and Marcel is our player that joins us from Germany, and Ronnie is a player that joins us from my hometown. So we now have people very far away and very close by in this game.
Across the entire world.
Yeah. Yes. Or at least Europe and North America.
Pretty much the entire world.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. There we go. All right. So that's what you have found here in this particular area. And then let me put the gnome-sized items into the Discord as well. Okay, so no, whoops, gnome-sized adventuring gear. There is that. How is Archimedes trying to determine that? By burning a spell or using a...
We'll use his bardic lore.
Use his bardic lore. Okay.
Sense any I guess heavy magic, or if this would be any kind of like markings on there that were like, oh, this is a mark of this, or...
Okay, let's...
Trying to see where that's at.
Yeah. I think there's something mechanical in your...
There it is.
class.
5%? Yeah.
5%. Okay.
5% per level to identify general purpose or function of any magical item.
Okay. And we are now level 5. So that's a 20%. So let me go ahead and make a roll over here in the super secret area. yeah, none of it appears to be magical.
Of a known magical. Okay, perfect. That's fine.
However, your close inspection does reveal that it is well used and well cared for, and it probably hasn't been here very long.
Hmm.
So,
Alright.
I mean, and by very long, it can't have been here a week. It's-
So a gnome was the undead's dinner at some point.
Was it? Hmm.
Well, we can assume, but
How,
wouldn't know until we find like some bones or something.
how confident is Archimedes on his assessment of magic, not magic?
Oh, well,
50-50. 50 could be, 50 couldn't be.
Nobody has detect magic.
I think I do. Let me see.
No, don't touch that. Like a little kid.
Don't touch what?
Sorry, I was talking to my cat. I apologize.
No, I was like, what?
She stretched out and started playing with my.
I do have it, but I don't want to detect it just yet. I'll do that when we have like more items, and I'll do it later if we
Yeah.
find more. That way I can detect everything rather than just trying to waste it on one.
Yeah, sounds like.
Well, I guess I wonder if it's masterwork. Like if the armor, it would be masterwork if it's magical. At least that's the 3rd edition rule. So
yeah, and that's a rule I've kind of that I think that DMs I've played with ever since AD&D have used that rule. So I've kind of always used that rule too. Is before you can make something a magic item, it has to first be a masterwork item.
So we could save it for later, though. Yeah, just keep that handy.
All right. So apparently that gear is selected, and going down here, everybody looks, detects, pokes, prods, and everything, but it absolutely seems like this is really a wall that separates the two corridors from each other. You know a corridor goes through there because you've been in that corridor, but doesn't
Seems to be
seem like
walled.
they put a door there to
Yeah.
get between them.
Galban, I'm keeping the padlock that was on the chest.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it open.
Okay.
So, it's just in case I need it at some point. So.
Okay. All right. Throw it in your inventory. And while you do that, I notice we have gotten past the top of the hour. So let's go ahead and take our break. 'Cause we don't want to get into the situation we did last week where we waited a long time before we had our break. All right, everyone. Players, thank you for joining. Viewers, thank you for joining us tonight as well. We are getting ready to take our break. We will be away for about 10 minutes to allow people to get their. Okay, come on.
Or second set of drinks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that idea.
Whoops. No, that's not what I meant to do.
Okay, got
That's what I meant to
fights
do.
last night.
All right. We will grab some drinks, use the facilities, and we'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to put the music on, and then you guys, as players, can stay here and continue to chat, or you can move to the off-stream chat if you wish to do so, I will mute so they won't hear my microphone clatter when I set my headset down. Be back in a couple of minutes.
All right.
us back to our exploration music. Which I realized I should have changed from the outdoor music to the indoor music before, but oh well. That's all right. I'm going to put us back on the map. And welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a good break. All right, so we've discovered some gear. We've discovered some treasure. Some gear and some treasure here. Oh, where would we like to go next?
Through the walls. Are we going to take a look to see what the others look like? The other cells?
I suppose that. Well,
You just open the
could.
doors.
If does everybody want to do that?
I'd like to inspect the rest of the hallway, just to find traps or whatever. Just try to use some of my skills to see if we see any other hidden doors.
Oh, okay. To see if there's any doors that are not apparent. Okay. All right. So you guys go do some of that. Let me make a few rolls here. After Min and Quint and Archimedes and
Talon?
Aries and Talon all go along the walls, tapping and prodding and pushing and listening and everything. You're sure there's no additional secret or hidden doors along these hallways.
Okay.
Right, and then somebody had suggested popping open these other two little hatches to see if they contain the same kinds of creatures.
Right.
We want to do that. Any
Why
objections?
not?
Sure.
Okay.
Just make sure we're not leaving any human people behind or anything. Just
Yep.
make sure they're all
Soon
stinky dead.
Soon as
That's
you
what you-
open this, yes, there are 3 more zombies in there. So you close it real quickly.
Mhm.
And then when you check this one, there are indeed 3 more zombies, and you close it real quickly. So yes, it looks like there are these zombies locked up. As Brother Tuck mentioned before, he is not keen on leaving this place entirely before dispatching them, but he
Same
doesn't
here.
know whether they need to be dispatched right away.
I am for dispatching them right now.
Okay, well,
Of course you do.
you guys.
We can go around the other side because that's where the doors are. These are
Yeah.
just the small little slats that
Yeah.
you can serve or take a peek in. So we want to go around the other side.
Okay. So
Are we trying to be quiet for some reason, or
nobody has said that they are stealthing. So
well,
I'm
Min will
presuming.
actually be like, "Is there a reason why we're being quiet, guys?"
I'm wearing a plate armor. I'm not quiet.
Are you being quiet?
You can hear my thumping down the entire hallway.
So Min will kind of go, will call out, not at the top of her lungs, but will be like, "Hey, is there anybody still here that's alive?" And listen.
If
Okay.
she does that, I'll try to detect noise.
Okay. As the echoes of Min's voice fall away, Min hears nothing. And Aries hears no reply either.
I guess not. So we don't need to be like looking in every single cell.
Okay.
No need for it.
Yeah. So it sounds like people then are thinking.
So there was nothing else this way, right? This is a wall. Can you see where I'm
Correct.
clicking?
Yes. That's
Greyhawk, would you come with me to dispatch of these zombies?
And he says, "Oh, gladly, I will." And he
Let's go. Hurry, my friend.
comes along this way, and let me finish revealing the rest of this hallway, which you guys can probably guess.
Oh no. Gonna
Guess
connect
at.
to the hallway down there.
In the meantime, I start to conjure in my hand a flame.
Ooh.
What?
Fancy.
Witch.
Yes, witch. Someone else is a witch. You go bug them now. You go
Hey.
harass them.
Hey, don't be picking on the druid. Druids are the only ones that have good magic.
Oh, ha ha.
Minu, you've already cleared your name in my book.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm glad.
as you come down here, you notice that there are 6 doors in this hallway. You can guess by triangulation, and I think that after a while exploring dungeons gives you guys a sense of spatial orientation even when you can't see it. So you're pretty sure that this door, and this door line up with the cells that you saw. However, you notice there's a door here, and a door here as well.
I want to send my flame down the hallway to see all the way to the end. See if there's anything down there.
Oh, okay.
I want
So
to detect evil.
there's a thing that I have. Yes, it's this thing that I can use. Aha, yes, it's this thing. All right, so this is actually a token. This is a token of a torch. And so, ouch, Archimedes. How far down the hall do you want it?
Just to scan the whole hallway, so we can get a good look and see if there's anything else down there hiding along the walls or anything.
Nope, it goes to the end to where it angles off, and then you bring it back, and it just all you see are the doors.
I would like to detect evil in this general area.
Okay, in that general area.
Yes.
So you.
I already know about this here.
Yeah.
I want to know if there's something.
Let us see. You.
So I pick my arms and do my motions, and what do I see?
You do not sense any evil behind this door, or this door.
I would try to open this door.
Okay, that door.
I feel the need to ready my scimitar while he's doing this.
Okay, all right. You go to the door and you realize there is a place for a lock on the door, but there is no lock on the door.
And there's nothing in there. Yes, makes sense. Nothing locked in.
So you open the door, and you see an empty chamber. With the exception of the fact that there are no zombies in it, it is almost exactly like the prison cells you guys saw on the other side of the hall. The difference is there is no slot at the back for somebody to put food in.
Archimedes, is there a lock on the door where you are at?
Yes, there is a lock on the door where Archimedes is.
That's where, that's where the zombies are. The zombies are in this one.
So behind
Yeah.
every locked door, there are zombies.
Yep.
Well,
And
ready then?
Archimedes, there is a lock, Archimedes, on this door.
Ooh.
Arcturus did not sense any evil there, but there is a lock there.
So Arcturus, I point to the lock right there. There's a lock on this one.
Then nothing evil is in there. At least I didn't feel anything. We could open it
What?
up if you want before we go eliminate these zombies.
I'm gonna go knock on the door that has the lock.
Okay.
I'm, of course, walking around with my shield and bust that sword out. Not
And
bad.
I'm readying my arrow right there, just in case.
So,
I would open the door.
okay, it's got a lock on it.
Yes, I would use my... Okay, I'm gonna take out my Morning Star and beat the lock off.
Okay.
You can do it.
You want to smash the lock? Go ahead and make me an attack roll if you haven't done so already.
I cannot pick locks, but I can hopefully smash them to pieces.
Hey, Talon, you can tell that Arcturus is using his pick lock skill.
Amateurs.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Roll some damage with that Morning Star. Negative
go.
3. That's a pretty darn good hit.
Is that a crit?
You consider it, but we don't do crits, right?
Yeah, actually, I think it is. So, I think that is a crit. So, go ahead and roll
Nailed it.
damage.
Just normal damage or crit damage? Are we doing crits or not?
No. Second edition doesn't have crits.
Oh!
Okay.
Full
Wait.
damage!
Better.
With 10 damage, actually, because you got less than, or you hit an armor class better than 0, you did get some bonus damage on that, and you just splinter that lock, and pieces of it fly across, and you hear a squeal of a voice from beyond the door, and it's a squeal that sounds frightened.
There's a piggy in there.
Mm-hmm. You must be right. Also,
So,
that's
where's
what I
the
call
light?
lockpicking.
So then Arcturus opens the door after he smashes it.
No, of course, it leaves it closed. I'm going to open the door.
Where was that light at? Is that light right by me?
I can bring it back, but I took it off the map.
Okay.
As
Well, there
you
we go.
open it, you find a bound and gagged gnome chained to the firewall.
It's a pig and a poke.
I am thinking about closing the door.
Hey!
Hey, look.
Well,
The gnome looks at you, and his eyes are, he's like doing this thing, blinking because there's light flooding in, and his eyes are accustomed
my
to
sword.
darkness
I
now.
got my sword.
And he kind of tries to. He trembles a little bit, but he's clearly, he's got the gag in his mouth, and his wrists are chained to the wall, so he can't really go much of any place. But he's
Chained to the
clearly
wall, you say?
afraid. Yeah, he's clearly afraid of you guys.
I'll cut
I
him
think
loose.
Okay. These are iron manacles, and the locks are built into them, so you'd have to.
Okay, I'll try to open the locks then.
Okay.
I wanted to try to use my special lockpick, but okay. Please.
Yeah, we could cut his.
So you want to kill a defenseless being?
No.
No, you just want to smash his hands and he'd be able to slip out of it.
Oh. You don't appreciate my lockpicking skills.
That's how he
I'm
did
just
the lock.
trying to
I
figure
mean,
out
he
what
could-
kind of paladin you are that you just attack helpless people.
Never. I attack helpless manacles. Big difference.
Attached to helpless people.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the manacles are wrapped around wrists.
I'm from Aries. You do you. If you need me, I'll be down here.
All right. So
start
we're
using Toodaloo.
Now we didn't find any keys or anything else on the jailers or the torturers or anything, huh?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
They probably have some somewhere, but you did not find.
We have not seen anything yet. Okay.
Right. And then for the other one. Ugh. Okay. You're not able to get the lock open right away, but the gnome does have a gag in its mouth, and now that it sees you trying to unlock it, it's kind of making noises.
Reach over and
What do you want?
try to
He wants
pull
us to
down
leave him alone.
Try to pull down the gag.
Maybe you want some quiet.
Yeah,
And
peace and quiet.
Yeah.
Close the door and leave him there.
you
I happen
pull,
to understand what he's saying, or
well,
does he just have something in his mouth?
he's got a gag in his mouth. So Min is pulling the gag out of his mouth, and he says, oh, thank you. I am Wanalon. I am Wanalon. I am from the great citadel of Greyhawk. I came to this place thinking that it was abandoned, and found to my dismay it was not. I had heard there were rumors of great treasure here that I thought I might be able to find, but I was found instead and thrown in this jail. Oh, if you find the jailer, you may find the key to get the manacles off. He keeps it on his person, I think.
I would have a quicker version for it. I pointed my sword.
What's the jailer look like?
And he
was-
describes the person that you found that was torturing the prisoners.
Oh,
Now you didn't find a key on him, but when you went to that other room and you found the chest, everybody got distracted by the chest and looked at that, and there's other stuff in there that nobody looked at.
aha.
So if just for the speed of plot, if somebody runs back there, it's not too hard to find
I can run back there.
set of keys
I'm not throwing back there.
that will, one of which looks the right size to open these manacles. So you bring those back, and you're able to get this poor little gnome rescued. And he says, I had some gear when I came. I had
No idea what happened to it.
Wait.
Fucking up
Before
birds.
we say that, oh my dear little gnome, I'm so sorry what they've done to you, but I've noticed that all the creatures in here are attracted to magical items. You must have had something on you that detected them. or drew them to your attention? What was it that you must have had?
And he looks at you, and he kind of gets quiet for a moment, and then he says, "Well, I just had my armor, my sword, my dagger, and my adventuring gear. All of it perfectly mundane, I assure you."
We all knew before coming in here that we had to get rid of anything that was magical, and we had to stow it up at the top before coming down here because of the elements that are in here. So something that you had on you really drew their attention. What was it? So that way we know not to get close to it.
Min's just nod along like, uh-huh.
You know, this
I'm just
is
looking very
this,
weird at him.
this is fantastic. I am trying to look to find. I'm guessing it's going to be under the rogue abilities. I'm looking for something like a deception or a bluff or something like that.
Have a very high charisma as well.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna say, go ahead and make.
I fail at everything I roll.
make a charisma check.
Yeah, that's gonna go well. Okay, 1 second.
Well, I did use rules. How are you? On.
I'm sorry, I have the hardest time trying to find where everything's at on this character sheet.
Okay, you go to the attributes.
I just found it.
Okay.
Success.
Oh my god, this is like my first success.
All right, and so he, as you keep saying this, his eyes get wider and wider, and then he says, "Oh my God, it must have been my dagger. They must have known that my dagger was magical. You'd never know it from looking at it, but it's a family heirloom that's was handed down to me from my father, and to him from his father, and to him from his father. And
We got it.
Well, can somebody please give him a dagger that he can use for now, because we want to make sure that we don't locate that gear and have these other creatures trying to follow us as we try to complete whatever we're trying to accomplish.
I'm just gonna stand here and not listen to whatever is being said there. This goes completely against my character.
Dear God.
Then you should speak up.
What? I'm going away. Taking a walk.
And
I have a dagger. Here you go, my friend.
oh, thank you. You didn't happen to find my armor or my short sword in my backpack, did you?
I have not found anything.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Well,
I'll attest to that he has not found anything.
Okay, Archimedes, I'm going to ask you to make a charisma check.
Reaction adjustment or just a check? Okay. So.
Yeah, just a check.
Need to check something real quick. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. He is absolutely certain that you all have not found anything that could
Nope.
possibly be his,
Nothing.
and he is very dejected. He says, "Well, what about what about the jailer and the bugbears? You found them.
Yes,
You dealt with them.
Yes,
Oh, that
we've
was all
dealt
my
with them.
stuff.
What about the zombies? Have you dealt with them?
No, not yet. We'll take care of
Oh.
them later.
We
We're
needed
looking for
some bait
survivors.
for the zombies, so we figured you'd be it.
What? No, please, no.
And I chuckle.
Oh, this is your. And he looks over at he looks at Talon. Apparently presumes what most people presume, and then looks over at Brother Tuck as kind of the only as one of the only humans, and said, "Your child is very rude." And Brother Tuck says, "Oh, that's not my child.
Now don't deny it, brother.
That's Talon. He's not from around here. Let's just say."
In the eyes of God, we are all brothers.
Well, yes, we're brothers, but he's not my
Son.
progeny. He's not my offspring.
We're not your physical offspring.
No.
Why do you always say that, Dad? I just don't understand why you keep denying me.
And
That's-
brother Tuck has a very surprised look on his face. And the gnome just begins looking back and forth between Brother Tuck and Talon.
Brother Tuck,
then-
what aren't you telling us?
I'm an open book. I'm an open book.
Apparently not. I didn't know you had a son.
Oh dear.
Spring break.
Oh dear. And he just kind of puts his face in his hands and shakes his head a little bit. And
Alan goes up and gives him a hug and says, "It'll be okay, Daddy."
Well,
and he kind of recoils a little bit at your touch. And he says, "Whatever you say." And
Brother Tuck, we have more important things to do, like smashing zombie heads.
he said, "Oh, yes, I
So what-
agree. But
Ignore your son.
we now
What
have
prestigious family are you from?
Which
Coming
question? Which question?
Yeah,
Who is that?
that's Archimedes asking the guy. So
The gnome. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you
This is-
come from a large family of wealthy merchants from Greyhawk?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that we are wealthy now. My family has a long history in Greyhawk, and many generations ago, we were members of. My ancestor was a member of an adventuring company that explored the catacombs under Castle Greyhawk, and because of the assistance given to the Lord at that time, we gained a title, and so on and so forth. But several of the intervening generations, they haven't wisely spent that fortune, and so by now, I have a name, but that's about all I have.
Well, that's
No.
terrible.
No lands, no estates, no titles, just a family name.
And now you have continuous life, so the treasure continues.
Yes, it's certainly better than being dead, but I would hope that that I could get my dagger back. It's all I have to remember my ancestors.
What's so
Yeah.
special about the dagger?
Oh, it's got a magical enchantment. It lets you hit things more easily with it.
That's what drew them all to you. Well, so are you coming or are you going? Have you found, have you been on any levels lower than this?
Oh, no. I snuck in here and was distressed when I saw that there were signs of habitation. I thought maybe that there were other people that had come ahead of me to plunder. And then as I was searching in a storeroom, I heard a noise behind me and turned around, and there were two enormous bugbears and an ogre.
An
And
ogre. Wow.
I thought I was about to be lunch, but instead they captured me and they took all of my gear from me and they took me to this human who questioned me. And when I didn't give him information that he liked, he took me to a room where there were some other prisoners, and he whipped me, and he burned
Oh,
me
very good
with
plan.
a brand, trying to get. And he points to a scar, like above his hip, on his side, where it indeed looks like somebody burned him with like a hot poker or something. And
Ouch.
I
he
pull
says,
some gold out of my pocket and I hand them 10 pieces of gold and I say, take that dagger that I gave you and travel with us and we'll help you find your gear. But we need your help in order to fight as we continue on our journey.
Yeah.
and he says,
What?
But we need to be quiet now. We need to hush so that we don't attract any more attention.
Yeah.
What?
he says,
You got to
He
move
says-
forward. We can't just stand here. They're going to come for us.
he
What?
says,
What's happening here?
I will. And he whispers, but without my armor, I'm afraid I'm not going to be much help in a fight.
Doesn't sound like your armor was much anyhow. We'll find some more clothing along the way, or is there something that we should know about it?
Wow. He's really good.
No, just the dagger was the only thing I had that was magical. The only thing that connects me to the ancestors of the Nembaditan family. It's all I have left of the Nembaditan legacy.
Help us find it. Let's continue on.
Very well, I will. And he seems to take some courage from that, and he looks around, and then
Well, that's how strong he is.
then his stomach growls. And
We'll feed this thing.
I'll give him a piece of jerky.
he grabs it and he starts to chew on it, and then he begins eyeing the canteens at people's or the water skins at
Wineskins.
people's hips. He doesn't seem to discriminate looking for wineskins. He's just looking for something to wash it down with.
And so, what's his specialty then, since he was adventuring down this way?
Well,
Yes.
I'm handy if I have my armor and I have both of my weapons. I can fight with my short sword and my dagger at the same time. I can
Where did we? What did we do with the armor?
I think it's all still stowed away, isn't it?
Well,
We
I
just
don't
found
know who took it out of the
I didn't take
room
it.
or if anybody took it out of the room. If you just left it there.
I figured we just handed it to one of our people and say, "Hey, run this back to the surface or something." I don't know.
I don't think anybody's gone back up to the surface yet. So
Yeah.
somebody, one of us has it.
Well, I meant like
Oh, like Grinnell
Yeah.
or the
one of our painters. Yeah, well, no, Knowles or
Is he
you
breaking
know,
too?
Yeah.
He's
His
you got to know how to speak
his
robotic.
connection has been a little bit spotty
Just
to
wanted
me.
to make sure.
Yep.
Quick question, Ronnie. You don't happen to be a rogue, right?
And he says,
Are you asking me?
Yes.
No.
You do seem to be quite charming.
Oh, if Aries is a rogue. Is that what you're asking?
My specialties are more with healing.
Oh, and now
don't
that there's
think
an interaction between the two, Arcturus, this would be a good time for Marcel, for you to tell Ronnie what Aries sees when he looks at Arcturus, and then Ronnie, you can let Arcturus know what he sees when he looks at Aries.
Well, you see about 1 meter, 1.9 meter. What's it in foot? Oh,
Well, a little over 6 feet.
6 foot. Yeah.
yes, pretty much. You pretty much see a 6 feet guy clad in full plate armor with a scar across his face and a crazy look.
He's a
much
human.
developed.
He's a human, right?
Yeah, a normal human.
I'm already kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
gathering that he's holy. Am I correct?
Yes,
I
and
have a whole hour around me.
yes, he has emblazoned on either his armor or his shield, or it could be both if he wants it.
Front armor.
On the front of the armor, he has the symbol of Clangadin.
A silver axe.
Huh?
Can you?
A silver axe. The symbol of King Adam.
Yes, a silver X, the symbol of
Silver one.
Clangadin, and that
Don't
is
matter.
the same. That is the same symbol, of course, that the Gnolls have.
Yep.
So he at least has a spiritual connection with all of these Gnolls that are following a dwarven god. And now you've met a human that's following a dwarven war god. And from the condition of his, the well-used, well-polished armor and the, well-used grip of his weapons, he gets to see a lot of action. So this is a guy that probably knows his way around. And of course, being a paladin, he's got that shiny metal armor.
Of course.
You see somebody who's trying to act like a rogue, but definitely, in your opinion, is not. The stealthiness of this character, even though is only wearing a long greenish cloak that has tears and fungus and stuff growing on it, somehow keeps clashing against the walls and making noises and is trying to be quiet, but just obviously just can't and don't know what's wrong with this thing. Definitely half elf has some. It's younger, so it's not full grown yet, and it's hidden behind a cloak most of the time. But you get this appearance of white skin, pointy ears, looks like a half elf, and probably between ages 13 to 16 years old.
And the hair is full of what did you say, Ron? Is it blonde hair?
Dreadlocks with long, stringy hair, hasn't been washed in a while, has twigs stuck in it, some leaves. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hasn't taken a shower in a while, doesn't care, just seems very earthy.
Seems like a nature person.
Indeed. Indeed.
Who
Yes.
just happens to know magic.
And Arcturus, your character would have been there to know this, just so it's not a surprise to you as a player.
Please.
The Archimedes, the bard, now has some new chainmail armor. And because he has new magical chainmail armor, this wild-looking half-elf person is now wearing the bracers of defense that Archimedes used to wear. So,
Oh,
so there was
Maybe he stole them. She stole them. It.
an upgrade for one character in the party, and then a hand-me-down to the new character to help equip them. So that's as we said, going through this place, I think every magic item that everybody has is something that's been found in here. So
yes, and I'm still searching for some.
yeah.
I've got my things that I'm searching for.
Yes.
Let's skim it,
So
Mom. I remember.
Take this gnome by its hand and drag it down the alleyway and say, let's keep looking.
okay. So the wild half elf wants to go exploring. I know some people want to deal with the zombies. Do we want to do zombies now, or do we want to do zombies after we explore more?
I would rather have them dead than have them as a constant threat here, just waiting to be unleashed.
Okay.
Let's deal with the zombies to make
Okay.
Arcturus and Brother Tuck happy.
Okay. Yeah, and you can obviously deal with them one room at the time. And I am going to give you all as players a choice. Do you want to roll dice, or do we want to handle dealing with the zombies narratively?
Narratively.
Well, then let's do it narratively.
Okay. So
Zombies.
yes, so you guys go in there, and Arcturus, what is your turning? Because they are zombies. They're not very tough.
Or I have that over level 2 cleric.
Arcturus. So let me just pull up your character sheet
Cleric.
and look at the turning. There's a tab here for turning. So zombie. All right. So you only need a 10. So go ahead and give me 9 rolls of a d20. And you can do that from your character sheet on the turning tab. Click the turn attempt button if you want. Oh, okay. So that's that way. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are automatically turned and are easily dispatched. 5 of them give you some trouble. And so I am going to say, because 5 of you, or 5 of them give you trouble, there is going to be 5 rolls of a d6. And there are 6 PCs in the party now. So, first roll. Okay, character number 3 on my screen, which is Talon. In this battle, you take 3 points of damage. And then 6 Aries.
Do I get to say what I wanted to do at all?
Sure. You can say what you want to do during this fight.
Because they're all trapped in the room, right?
Yeah, and you're doing this each room at a time. So, the party is fighting there, but presumably because not all of them are turned, they can get out and they get some attacks in on some of the PCs, and I'm just randomly determining who they attack. But go ahead and describe how you would approach this fight.
Well, I wanted to. My mind is driving me crazy, and I had a sixth sense of humor at the moment, and I wanted to run around to the other side where there was a cool slat in the door, and since I have my fireball with me or my flame, I wanted to keep letting it circulate around the room to drive them closer and closer to that little slat, so I can just keep sticking them and poking them with my scimitar.
Okay, that's fine. You conduct your part of the battle that way, and one of them, you help the party dispatch them, but one of them winds up striking you in the process and deals 2 points of damage to you.
Okay.
So then let's see. And Talon, how do you conduct the fight so we can decide how the zombie strikes you and why you got hit? So how are you in Desert Wind helping out in this
Well,
fight?
I would have been kind of with Arcturus in front of the door. I would have been kind of stabbing from off to the side, so it probably just reached out and got me with a lucky claw strike.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then the next person, that's going to Bob. How is Archimedes fighting these zombies? What is he doing during this battle?
Okay, so we're doing all of them, or we're just so he would have done the same thing. He would have been up front since he's kind of confident with the new duds that he's wearing, that he would have been swinging the sword and probably got a little bit of a scuffle with one, maybe.
Yeah, and one of them reached out and struck you in the leg. And it did 2 points of damage to you in the leg, and you realized, oh, crap, the legs aren't as well armored as
protected
as the upper part with this chainmail.
Certainly.
All right.
Intense.
So let's see. I think there's 2 more that we need to deal with. Quint. How is Quint prosecuting the fight against these zombies?
He'd probably been a little overconfident with his belt and thinking they're not too much trouble, so he probably would have just waded into their cell and started swinging away at them.
Okay, so even though you take damage from one, but he gets like a really good shot in on you, and Quint takes 6 points of damage from one of these zombies. Yeah. All right, and then last but not least, let's see who else gets in on the fun here. Nope, I'm not gonna give that to the same person. So, I'm going to do this because it just seems like the least likely person to get hit. But Min, how do you wind up getting in the way of one of these zombies? And somehow, what would you be trying to do to help out during a battle?
Probably just taking my javelin and kind of jabbing them back into the, as they come wandering out of the, scuffle or something like that. She takes her javelin and is kind of like, get back in there, get back in there.
Okay. And she almost always she remembers to think about going invisible again. But there's one time that you stab one and you get a really good hit on it, and you just stand there for a moment admiring what a great shot that was. And you forget about remembering to go invisible, and it reaches out and it claws you for 4 points of damage. So and even the ones that are not turned, they just stay afraid of Arcturus. Now, I don't think that there's any disease with zombies in this edition, and even if there is, I'm not going to roll for it because you have a paladin and you have a cleric with you. So, and now you have a druid with you, so we're not going to worry about that. It's just a little bit of damage. All right, so all of these zombies are now, in fact, dead.
I'm to search their rooms, but probably nothing interesting in there.
Okay, I just realized something. That this whole time, these guys were on the GM layer, so you weren't able to see that they were in there. All right, so yes, so we will go ahead and we will make them dead. As you go searching through this top room up here, there are, you find nothing of value except these zombie corpses. And then whatever the traditions of Clangaden are, whether Clangaden decrees that these should be burned or whether they should be given a burial.
Honestly, I haven't decreased nothing to that.
Okay. Yeah. Brother Tuck.
Guy.
Yeah. Brother Tuck just says some rites over the zombies after they're destroyed and sprinkles some holy water in each of these little alcoves. And every time a drop of holy water hits the corpse of the zombies, there's a little hiss of like steam coming up off of it.
All I can think of is Shaun of the Dead in this.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking of Breaking Bad.
Yeah. So, congratulations, you've killed a bunch of zombies. Yay! All right. So that was taken care of there. Now,
so since I was back on that other side, and if nobody had grabbed the stuff, I have it for now, so we can spread it amongst ourselves later.
Okay.
It didn't sound like anybody really made a decision if anybody grabbed it.
Yeah, there was nothing that I heard either.
Okay. So I'll carry it somehow.
All right. Right. So where to next?
Well, what's down this other hallway right here? I'll send my flame down that way.
But did we already check this room also?
Yeah. It
was
think
empty?
You did. Let me just make sure.
Check this room and this.
Yep. They are empty. Both
Perfect.
this one and this one are empty. And there's nothing of value in there.
Gnome, have you been down this hallway?
No, I've been locked in my cell except when they took me to torture me. And most of the time they blindfolded me when they did that.
I can
So I
feel
wouldn't see
magic
what-
down that way. Maybe your dagger is over there.
Ooh, you think so?
I want to detect evil.
Detect evil. Okay. You detect no harmful intent, or no harmful intent towards you, and no evil. Well, no evil creatures directly that way. It's kind of impossible being in this place to not detect evil, because just the entire place radiates evil. But when you focus and concentrate on a specific direction, there is nothing. Obviously, there's no obvious sinister source of evil. And none of your companions, either the people you know well or the two people you've recently met, none of them are radiating an
No evil right here.
Nope, no evil right there.
That's surprising.
I give him a weird look.
I give you a crazy look back.
Okay.
I'll kind of whisper over to the newcomer. Just watch what you do around him, because otherwise he'll accuse you of being a witch.
And I get the gnolls to eat you.
Thank you for letting me
I wasn't
know.
talking to you.
Yet I am standing right next to him and you were talking to him.
I wasn't talking to you.
But I am talking to you.
All right.
Gotta go pick the
So
book, witch.
the light goes down that way, and you see that it ends in at a corridor, which then turns to the east.
I'm gonna go up here.
You go.
Okay, you
going
go
back
up
up?
there. Your Arcturus is heading towards this direction.
Yes.
So
Okay.
used to hearing her as the witch. Can you, witch, can you please go down all the way to the end and look around the corner? Sorry to call you
Witch.
that. It's kind of your...
Arcturus, you when you step in here, you can even hear the sound of like many scrabbling feet of like very small animals. Sounds like quite a bit of them.
Talon, we should get the others. There are quite a few animals here. I'm not sure what they are. Or could you look around the corner for me? I'm not very quiet.
Really? Sure.
Min will go invisible and try to sneak over there.
Okay, so Talon, your roguish senses, there's not really a rogue sense for this, but I always kind of have suspected that maybe there should be. So I'm going to say that one of your roguish senses of extra perception is you've kind of trained your nose. and what you smell is you smell the strong stench of stale ammonia and stale feces. That's like animal waste is basically you're smelling the concentrated and long accumulating residue of animal pee and animal poop.
I think we found a rat's nest.
Oh, that's a good call. Or a bunch of cats.
Rats carry disease.
Either that, or, is it anything like what's in her hair?
Oh, that's nice.
God, you gotta lay off, man. Jeez.
What? Gotta make
and she's breaking us through.
You're so prissy. Just leave her alone. It's her thing. It's not like all you half humans aren't all the same.
Excuse me?
Yeah. You don't have a point there.
Shut up.
Okay.
Never.
As you get there and your light, and those of you that have dark vision help you see, a relatively short flight of stairs leads down to a 20-foot long walkway, 10 feet wide. And this walkway is made of wood. And the wood looks like it has like it's kind of old, and it's got like some kind of weird film, like maybe just like it's old there and it's been in this environment. You know how wood, yeah, kind of like that. So it's like it doesn't look very pleasant.
That's nasty.
Detect evil?
Detect evil.
Just looking if these animals are evil or not.
Okay. The
yeah, my rage.
There is no evil intent there.
Well, it seems to be normal animals.
Why are there so many here, though?
That's a good question. Maybe we should look around the corner. I would go west the first if you want. I am no scared of an animal.
Yeah, go test out that wood for us.
Now that you mention it, the guy wearing the plate armor probably shouldn't step on wood. I have a good idea. Desert wind.
No.
You're right. Talon.
No.
Yes. I'm gonna
No.
push forward a bit.
You're gonna get stuck. You better.
Come on. You weigh way less than me.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I can't fall down a shaft just like you.
Okay, how about this? We're gonna do this in a partner system. I'm gonna hold your hand and you're gonna walk forward. If you fall, I'm gonna catch you.
Yeah, no, I don't trust that.
How
about this? We'll tie a rope around you, and you walk out, and we'll hold. And Min and I will hold on to the rope, and if you fall, we'll pull you back up.
You both wanna try to carry a 2-meter guy in plate armor.
Sure, we can do it, can't we, man?
Of course.
I can also just grab all of you and throw you down the stairs.
Wow, that accelerated quick.
Man, he
No, I would
is.
never do that. I just want to say it.
I don't know about this Paladin.
Well, Clang Adam Paladins are known to be barbarians.
Let it go to his head a little bit.
I want to move over there and see what they're all checking out.
Okay, yeah, you get over there, and the smell of an
Ammonia.
animal, yeah, the smell
right.
of a place where a lot of animals, leave their waste, assaults you, and you know that in the wild, like where in caves where like bats or rats congregate and have their colonies and things like that, this is exactly the way that smells. So to your attuned woodland senses, it's like, oh yeah, this smells like normal animals. There's a lot of them there, and it's all where they go. They go number one and they go number two, and it just generations on generations of them doing
Sounds
that.
like it's just a place where they keep all their livestock for food. I think it's perfectly safe to go that way.
Well,
Send that one that looks like a small child across.
no, you can go yourself. Be my guest.
crazy half human, you can go.
Now that you said it, please.
I'll walk up to the wooden floor and take a look through the slats to see if I could see anything.
Okay. So move your token where you want to be. Okay, you move there. Yeah, the floor is pretty much mildewy, and it looks like the boards are solid, but they're old. So, but they seem sturdy enough to visual inspection.
Does anyone have something of weight that we could set on it to see if it could hold us?
And Talon and Min probably point towards Arcturus. One. At the same time. That
I
one?
don't even notice it as I'm too busy staring at him. I have an idea.
Put a rope around
forward
me.
and push him.
I'll venture across.
I walk forward and push him.
Push
Okay.
who?
And he pushes me.
Yes.
Wow,
I
you're
turn
a
into
jerk.
a cat. I turn
Okay.
into
That's not an attack. Strength check.
little tiny gray kitten with big eyes.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Okay.
I know that I'm
Min
good for
sees
them.
this and starts looking like she wants to cry.
Okay.
Well,
Let's see. I don't have a gray cat token, but I do have a black cat token.
All right.
So we'll go
I
ahead.
am now a black kitten.
Okay, so we will say Aries cat form, and we will
Just had a
say-
shock. Boom. I immediately just change.
Yeah. All right. So now I think you can actually control that token, Ron. I think you can move that token around. So yeah, the cat pads across there, and with your cat senses, oh yes, assaulting your nostrils are the smell of not only the dung and the urine, but the smell of the creatures that made the dung and urine. There is a pit that extends to the north of this. This pit is probably about 20 feet deep, and rustling around in that pit are no less than 24 giant rats.
Oh, do they look bigger than me? Oh, I'm sure
They
I'm
look
the
bigger. They look bigger than a house cat. Yes.
meow meow.
Yeah. They
I hop sideways like cats often do in fear and jump back towards the steps.
Okay. Yeah, you can get back towards the steps without any problems.
In my cat form, can I scratch with my claws an arrow pointing to look that direction in the wood?
Sure. Because I think when we looked at the rules, you keep your intelligence and wisdom scores when you're in that form. So you would have a druid's knowledge of how to communicate, but you'd be limited to communicating in a way that the animal form could.
Just
Which-
don't write and roll it.
All right, I scratched like a 2 and a 0 as best as possible.
Okay.
20.
20. Yes. And so you Arcturus, you would probably get the sense, and you hear that scrabbling around there, that whatever there is down there maybe is 20 of them.
Oh, and also at Arcturus, whoever pushed me, I have to hiss a little bit.
Yeah. So you look up at the Paladin and go,
Yeah.
and
right.
Arcturus, this is something that the Witch Min has never done. The Witch Min has never actually turned into a cat. But this person has turned into a cat before your very eyes.
And of course, Min looks like she wants to cry.
The Witch Man was a cat. What are we talking about?
Cat
But
person.
that was before Arcturus was with the group. He never remembered that.
Oh, you, he's a witch. She's a witch. It's a witch.
It's a witch. The witch.
Who's a witch?
Follow the yellow
Arcturus is a witch.
Now that's blasphemy.
You know
Says
gods
who?
don't exist. Get over it.
Oh, Langdon seems to disagree. He saved my ass.
All right.
Never seen
Your ass. Okay.
Yes.
And the revelation that there is in fact a cat person or somebody who can turn into a cat in the party, and the revelation that there are a bunch of rats. Well, that's going to be where we have to call it for tonight.
Oh,
That is going to be the end of our session. We have reached time. And I want to be sensitive to everybody's schedule. Now, in terms of my schedule, next Saturday I am available on the 27th. But the Saturday following, which is Labor Day weekend, I am not available.
I won't
So-
either. I've got 4th that weekend.
Yeah. So, if we have enough people available next Saturday, we will have a session. If we have a bunch of people that are out, we will go ahead and we will have a session after them. But I'll probably put up the schedule, and then during the week, just let me know if you know you're not going to be able to be here next Saturday. And if there's a critical mass of people that can't be here, we'll just push the next session out. But thank you guys and gals for joining tonight. Players, hope you enjoyed this. This was a fun session. And we didn't go very far, but I think we did a lot of really interesting things. You guys now with this particular dynamic in the group, you've realized there's some other things you can do, and I love that. Every
Yeah.
time there's a new player in the group, it always is like, oh, wait a minute, yeah, this is D&D. We can do that, can't we? Because somebody thinks of something that everybody else hasn't thought of before. So I hope it sounds like you guys are having fun with it. I hope that you are. All right.
I just want to say thank you guys for letting me be a part of your group because I've really enjoyed these
You're
last
welcome.
two
This has
sets.
been fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
great.
Give the dagger back.
Huh?
And let's not give that dagger back.
Oh, we're gonna definitely give it back.
Oh, and now this may be where
Arcturus, do you even know that we were doing that? I thought you stayed up there with
Yeah,
Brother
no.
Tuck. So you really don't know what we found.
He heard. Arcturus heard this whole interchange. He actually does know what was found.
Yes. And I heard that he wants his dagger back, and it is his family heirloom.
Well, heirloom dagger.
Clang Adam.
Payment for saving his life. No, it's all relative.
I gave him some gold. He's good.
I'm trying to figure out how the thief is the least shady person in the group.
Entire glory group to hunt you.
Well, and Ron, the way that I have always played, because it's the way every DM I played with, when I was on the other side of the table, I've always played paladins in the case of Arcturus. I've played that their alignment is consistent with the alignment of their deity. And I believe that Clangadin, as a god of war, is a chaotic good god. So that means that Marcel, he has, as far as I'm concerned, he has the full range of playing on kind of the good half of the spectrum. He can be more lawful when he wants to be. He can be more chaotic when he wants to be, and it doesn't hurt his status as a paladin because the god he follows is a chaotic good god. Whereas
I love how he's staying true to it. I love it.
yes, and I love, because one of the things with military is there's very much a code of ethics and a code of morality in the military. So there's certain things that he's like, oh, well, that doesn't matter. But when it comes to kind of more militaristic things, he's very into the, well, oh, no, there must be a proper thing for this. So I like the way he approaches that. And it's also just fun to see what people come up with. So I think if Arcturus ever did anything that was really out of line, well, I might pull him aside and we might have a one-on-one conversation.
Innocent person.
Odd speaks to him.
Yeah.
Well, I did torture an evil person before.
Well, yes, but they're evil, and
Exactly.
Everybody knew they were evil, and
Exactly.
I don't think they tried to hide the fact that they were evil. They were clearly up to no good, and the playing Adam's will is you got to stamp that out. So
Destroy every evil.
yeah, no problem with that. All right, coming up on the channel tomorrow afternoon, we will have our Planeswalking game. That is our 5th edition planeswalking game, The Walker of Waterdeep. Monday night, there will be a Monster Monday, and this week, it just might have to be a live Monster Monday, because with the live stream I did Friday night, I haven't had the prep time and recording time that I normally get to get the Monster Monday ready. So it may just wind up being a live streamed Monster Monday instead of a pre-recorded and edited Monster Monday this week. But we're going to be looking at the Lunar Dragon from the brand new Spelljammer sourcebook for 5th edition that just dropped this last week. And because it is a dragon, it has a full life cycle. So we'll be looking at the wormling, the young dragon, the adult dragon, and the ancient version of that dragon, and see how those might fit into your campaigns and what good sorts of things they give you as a DM. Then we should be back on Wednesday for our presuming that we have a quorum, we should be back on Wednesday for our Sword Coast Chronicles game, and where they are continuing the exploration of Old Omu in the storyline of Tomb of Annihilation. And the thing that really has me the most excited this week was the drop they did on Thursday, where they talked about the concept of D&D going forward. We are doing this game, which is the 2nd edition rules, and as everybody knows, the 2nd edition rules of D&D are very, very different from the 5th edition rules. And what they have decided at Wizards of the Coast is that instead of completely reinventing the game and coming out with a 6th edition, they want to evolve the game to something called 1D&D, where over time there will be tweaks to the current rules that I guess it will. The best analogy is that D&D's rules will evolve in the same way that Magic the Gathering's rules evolve. If you sit down with a deck of Magic the Gathering cards, there are, as long as the two players agree, you can play any cards from any release of Magic, and they kind of all work together. Their idea with D&D is that from the launch of 5th edition onward, they want any product that has been published for 5e migrating into 1D&D to be compatible with the rules as they continue to evolve. Now, they are doing that by releasing Unearthed Arcana at least once every month over the next 18 months or so, and asking people to review that, to play test it, to give them feedback, and so on and so forth. So I have been poring over that. But the most exciting part of that is that part of their expansion of D&D Beyond will be developing a 3D virtual tabletop. So it's a 3D virtual tabletop that is built on the Unreal Engine, which is one of the most robust and longest lasting game engines. It's been around for probably 20 years or more, and it keeps getting refined and updated. And their idea is to build a virtual tabletop that is based on that and powered by that graphics engine, so that you will be able to go to some place like Hero Forge and create a 3D mini for your character, and then you can bring that 3D digital mini into a 3D dungeon environment that the DM has set up, and your battle map will then have perspectives that you can spin around and you can look at the battle map from different angles, and it promises some very cool things. And of course, I have a wish list as a dungeon master, and I'm sure players have wish lists as players. But one of the really cool things they're trying to do is integrate the D&D rules into that. So, for example, if you have dark vision as a player, or if your character has dark vision and you go into a dark area, the space for you will look the way it would look to somebody with dark vision. So it'll be in shades of gray and not all in color. If you have a light source, it will illuminate the part of the area that you can see in the light. And if there is something in there trying to sneak up on you, only those people that have the high enough passive perception or the high enough active perception checks will detect that the thing is in there. Everybody else won't see it. So it's like a big improvement over something like Roll20, where there is one player view and one DM view. Um, this sort of has the promise of being able to deliver a customized view for every person in the party, which I think is kind of cool. The drawback to that, of course, is that going from a 2D to a 3D engine is going to require a lot more graphics horsepower unless they figure out a way of doing some of the processing on the VTT end. Now, that's one of my wish list items is, okay, if you're going to give us all these cool bells and whistles, figure out all the rendering and just send the viewer just stream like the video of what they would see to the viewer. Don't make the viewer's computer do all the rendering for what they're going to see, because you're going to limit so many people that would be able to take advantage of a system like this. So that's the trade-off.
That's the transfer of data, right? So that your computer isn't set up to run that type of graphics, then you're going to get very little of it anyway.
Yeah, and I think Ronnie had to drop off, but one of the things Ronnie was asking me about earlier was, some of the features of Roll20, like the dynamic lighting. I don't use dynamic lighting because now for me, as the DM, because there's one DM view, if I enable dynamic lighting on this particular map, then every time I move my view, it would figure out and calculate what every single token in every single room on this entire map would see, and it would try to render all those shadows for me. So you can imagine how long it would take for it to update that and then move it. And it doesn't have anything to do with the amount of memory or graphics power that my computer has. It has to do with some of the limitations that Windows puts on how much memory can be dedicated to a browser window. So anytime you have to try to throw all of that kind of extra processing into a browser, you then, multiply the task of the computer in rendering all that kind of stuff. So that's why I say do that on the VTT end, and then just send the viewer what they would see. Don't make their computer do all the figuring.
Right.
Yeah. And so then of course, I imagine that if they were able to do that, that would mean that they would have to have a crap ton of processing power on that VTT end, and it might have to be something like an instanced version of the VTT, so that every party that connects to it would kind of have its own dedicated processor, so it could do that for each of the players and for the DM. And that might mean that if there's a subscription model like there is for Roll20, that might mean that that subscription is a little bit more expensive. But I would wager that for a DM like me who runs multiple games every week, if they came to me and they said, okay, if you want to use this and you want to run your games, let's say it's $50 a month. I might then be able to turn around and say to my players in the Sunday game, my players in the Thursday game, or the Wednesday game, my players in the Saturday game, say, okay, for us to use this new VTT, it's going to cost me $50 a month. Can everybody chip in like $2 a month? And if we get some of the cost defrayed by the players in the game, then that would make it easier, an easier load to do. But it looks super, super, super cool. And I'm very hopeful for a lot of different things it can do. But of course, time will tell because it's even in pre-alpha. There's nobody except the developers are able to play with this thing yet. So, and there's a video that was released. You can go, I think, to the official D&D channel, and you can find the video on it. It's like a 6-minute video, and they talk about it and they show a few views of it. But it is a really, really cool. It's like a tabletop diorama view where you're looking at the sets and you see all of the structures and all of the walls and all of the statuary and columns and bits of broken pieces and things like that. And then when you zoom in on one of these digital miniatures, you see all of the super detail on the digital miniature. So it's very cool. But yeah, that is that. All right. Well, viewers, thank you guys for joining us. Players, thank you so much for playing. And everybody, good night. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream.